was a claims adjuster.
Okay.
So, you know, I mean, it was a good job, you know. But, you know, after, like I said, a week, I just felt like, what am I doing? Like, the restaurant
How long
looks so
did you
good.
last there?
I did the full co-op,
Yep.
6 months.
Okay.
You know, during that 6 months, I worked extremely hard, and I think we cleared a year's backlog in 6 months. But that's how, you know, how we used to work. So restaurant people, I mean, we just go. So you just don't know how to stop, right?
You could say you're unstoppable.
Yeah, that's a good one. Exactly. So that's, and I guess right after that point, I knew that I didn't want that kind of life. I said, you know, I'm going back to the restaurant. So after that co-op, I did every co-op back at the restaurant. I kind of focused me in. I said, I knew what I wanted to do.
This episode made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. With excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guest, partner and COO of the Bing Restaurant Group, Nick Yee. My man, Nick, are you feeling unstoppable today?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked to be here. So I reached out to, actually, I think it was Nate, your son, reached out to me a little over a year ago saying, you know, he loves the show and that he thinks his family would be a great guest on the show. And he was right. We first connected with Edison and his uncle. That was episode 1064. Before I left that day, we said, we got to get Nick on the show the next time. That was a year ago. And, you know, Edison was the financial guy. You're the operations guy. So he's looking at the numbers and you're looking at the actual processes and how do we make these things better. Right. So
correct.
I cannot wait to get into it. I also want to point out too, and I want to acknowledge you. The way we reconnected is that I connected with a listener of the show, Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy reached out to me. We set up some time. I listened to his story. Really what I do in these one-on-one sessions is I just try to understand where these people are at, and then I try to make recommendations based off of who they are and where they're trying to go, and who do I know in my network that I can like just put in the same Zoom call for an hour to maybe offer some additional mentorship. That happened with Tommy and you and Edison and Nate, and you guys were so generous with your knowledge and your wisdom. And Tommy actually came out here with me, so now he's getting a tour of your operations. And I left that phone call feeling so just like inspired by your generosity and feeling good about the work I'm doing going forward and realizing that I'm in a position to help people connect. Like, it just made me feel amazing. I just want to say thank you so much for doing that, man.
You know, it's good to talk to people in the same industry, especially Tommy, being from Asian descent and culture and all that. So
he was asking me questions about like what to do with the culture. I was like, man, I can't touch that one, but I know some folks.
Yeah, you know, it is a little different, but it's good to talk to people in the industry, especially Tommy being so young and sharing thoughts. And if we can help each other out, I mean, that's all the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you guys you continue to be tremendous to him. So I just cannot say thank you. I just want to publicly see you all for the generosity. So I want to dive into your story to find out, you know, your perspective of, you know, the legacy, Johnny and Linda, how they inspired you growing up and what the evolution of the Bean Group has been through your lens. But let's get that motivational, inspirational ball rolling with a success quote or mantra. What do you got for us?
For me, I think it'd be, what's that, Carpe Diem?
Yes.
Seize the day.
Yeah. So why is that so important to you?
I guess, you know, every day, you know, over the past years, you see a lot of close friends, people going through, you know, whether it be health problems, just life problems. And I just feel like, you know, every day that you get up is a special day. So you're going to make the best of it and
100%
seize the moment.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to get into how you've been seizing the moment every day for the past, what now, like, were we 50 years of restaurant operations at least?
Yeah, at least. Actually, all my life. So we grew up in the business. So, I mean, ever since we were little kids, my whole family, you know, my siblings, Andy, who's passed, my sister Anita, Edison, and myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last year, when I was here last, episode 1064. If you guys want to go check that out, you guys were at 16 units. Has anything changed?
No, same status quo right now. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many different concepts?
Oh boy, jeez, we have American Bar and Grills. I would say 4 or 5 different concepts.
So there's the Halfway House, Johnny's Bar and Grill, Johnny's Tavern, Johnny's Tap Room,
yes,
Aya Sushi,
yes,
and Noodle Kitchen, Student Prince, Johnny's Roadside, Student Prince at the Worst House, that's more of like a pop up like
German beer hall.
Got it.
Basically, yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then you have you purchased the McLadden Restaurant Group,
Correct.
Which is 3 Irish pubs, Union Kitchen, and
yes. So McLadden's was 3 units, but they're all one of them became Union Kitchen.
Got it. And then the Boathouse, and then lastly, the most recent addition to is White Hut, which has 2 locations.
Correct.
Burger concept.
Burger, yes.
Guys got a lot going on.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, different concepts, mostly all full service, casual.
Yes. White Huts are basically fast casual. Just
with the exception
of
QSR.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Counter service. So, I mean, typically this is when I try to give my listeners an idea of your operational success. And this is where it gets awkward because I talk about numbers. And like, we've been in pretty closed doors, I would say, the industry for a long time, like letting people in to know the numbers. I know Edison's the numbers guy. But on par, where are you guys like hitting with your like prime costs and like percent profit? Do you know those numbers?
Mostly, those guys, actually Edison and Nathan, my son, take care of all the numbers.
Okay.
I'm primarily, I'm the restaurant guys out there. I deal with all the equipment purchases for the restaurant. I'm like the flow guy.
Got it.
Try to find the right flow for operationally.
Right.
How things are gonna how do you say it? Flow correctly, so we're highly efficient.
Doing more with less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Also, deal with, the day-to-day stuff, dealing with all the, our employees on a daily basis as well.
Got it.
Maintenance is a big thing for us with all these different restaurants, and, it could get out of hand. So I'm more on the field running that operation at the current time, whereas before I was in a physical restaurant doing the day-to-day, the daily grind, so to speak.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. We shared the story of Johnny and Linda, and how they scaled their concept to 8 locations. It was a really cool story. I don't know if we need to tell that whole story again.
Yeah.
I would say go check out episode 1064 if you haven't. Hear Edison's perspective, but what I really want to know today, what was it like for you growing up in this restaurant family?
Well, for me, it was just our life. Grew up, just give you a quick little synopsis. As kids growing up, my parents would work 7 days a week, my mother and father. And then my grandmother came in to take care of us. As most immigrant families, they would bring their grandparents in to watch the kids. So, and my grandmother would be working in the restaurant industry as well. She would do all the dishes. She would take in all the inventory. So in the mornings, my dad would work. My mother and dad would work till like 4 a.m. Back in the day, 7 days a week, just to get the business going.
Wow.
And then my grandmother would take care of us. So she would go in the morning. So we would have to go with her to the restaurant because we would let our parents sleep.
Right.
So she would march us into the restaurant daily, like 7 days a week as kids growing up. And that would be our basically playground.
Daycare.
Yeah. so to speak. I don't know if it was a playground, but you learn so much, it's just like so many different life experiences, I guess, it's just like, and I mean, you're from the restaurant business too. So you kind of understand
I think so many great life experiences, and I don't want to put words into your mouth, but for me, it was just like that social and emotional intelligence of just being around people every day, being a part of a community, being known and loved for what you bring to the community, and just dealing, like, I think I was 3 years old when my parents opened the restaurant. So like just being able to engage with people every day, and that does like that human FaceTime, like that, like so many young people are missing, especially today, because they're just staring at screens. You know?
Yeah. So we would do that. We wake up in the morning, and we would do all different types of side work. I mean, we would, and not by, it's not like we were forced to do it. It's just there's a restaurant business, It's just like we would do everything, peeling onions. I mean, you name it, peeling shrimp. We would do everything. Yeah. So like you said, I think it's just you learn so much from those experiences. For
like
me,
what?
Just how to, I guess, like lessons in life. Like you learn to be self-sufficient. You like you said, you interact with so many different people. You get to see, whether it be common workers to you meet, politicians,
right?
You meet entertainers. I mean, you meet everybody from all walks of life. I think it's great, and you know how to deal with them. I guess talking to regular people to whether it be politicians or whatnot.
Your parents opened Hukilau. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, Hukilau. Yes.
Hukilau, which was really a venue more than a restaurant. It sat 1,000 people. That you guys had live shows, like Hawaiian, like dancing, fire and sword shows, comedians. Yes. That must have been a really cool experience, like having like really influencers coming into your world, like celebrities.
Yeah. So. As we were growing up, my dad started off originally with just a regular restaurant. Yeah. And then I don't know where he got the idea of bringing a Hawaiian show in Chicopee, Massachusetts. It's like, of all the places, you figure be in a major city, but it was just a small town in Western Mass that he planted his flag. And I don't know where he got the idea to go get a Hawaiian show. Yeah. So we originally started off with a showroom, probably maybe 100 seats. And then as years it got bigger and bigger, because back in the day, I think we were the second Chinese restaurant in Western Mass. So as the years rolled by, we expanded the showroom to like 250. Wow. So then we used to do two shows. We used to do two shows. Like we would do a show on Thursday, 2 shows on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Wow. So he brought all these people from Hawaii. I mean, I don't know where he got them from. And they were now we have like a population of, Polynesian people that live in the area now from all these years that we've been here. And then, like probably 1989, we did a bigger expansion of the showroom. So our showroom, like I said, was 250. In the 70s, very busy, booked all the time. And then in 1989, we did the last expansion was a 525-seat showroom. So that's where we brought in all the national comedy acts. We're very blessed to meet Bill Blumenreich, who runs the Comedy Connection in Boston. Yeah. And that's when comedy was big back in the 80s. And Bill came in because we had the showroom. And my brother Andy and my father were there. And they did a deal with Bill on a handshake. Yeah. Just old school.
Is Bill, what's his nationality?
Bill is, I think Bill's Jewish. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was curious because I noticed through talking with Tommy and you guys, like there's a lot of just like a lot of honor in like Chinese culture of this like handshake deals. I was wondering if that was something going on here.
That's how my father operated. So and Bill still talks about it today. Bill actually runs the Wilbur Theater down in Boston, which he brings in all the big name comedy acts still. Yeah. but we have conversation. Bill's so gracious, calls us and checks up on us, still to this day. And he always tells a story about the handshake, like come in, do a handshake deal. And it lasted for almost 30 years.
Yeah, that's
with
cool.
him. And he still talks about it. He said, today he couldn't do that.
You guys closed the wow, I don't know why.
Hukilau,
Hukilau, 2018, right?
Yes.
Wow. So that's a run right there for sure. And at one point you had 8 locations. You were the youngest of the 4 siblings?
Yes.
What was the age difference between you and Andy, who was the oldest?
Andy was just 4 years older.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're all pretty close.
Yeah,
close in age.
Did you know, as kids, that this was going to be yours someday?
No, actually not. So, growing up in the industry, my dad was my dad was just a different person. He let us do whatever we want, basically. So after, he went to college, and he never forced us to be in the industry. He never said, "Oh, you got to be here," we got to work every weekend. He always let us go out and to find other jobs. And, quite honestly, the story for me is got that opportunity. I didn't want to be in the restaurant business because, as kids, we would work. We'd work all the time. So work all the holidays. We never closed. We closed one day a year, which was Thanksgiving, right? And he didn't even want to close Thanksgiving. So he wanted it. But, come on, Dad, just let's have a day for our family.
Yeah.
So after college, I didn't want anything to do with the restaurant business because I didn't want to work holidays. I want to do a 9-to-5 job. I just want to work, my 5 days and get the weekend off and spend it with my family. So I went to Northeastern for college and had the co-op program. So I co-opted. My first job was for John Hancock in Boston, right in Copley. And I got my job. I got, did the interview, got hired, and started my job. I dressed up in my suit, had my newspaper, coffee walking in. I had my badge, and brought me up to the 23rd floor overlooking Cambridge. I thought, oh, boy, this is like heaven. Yeah, this is heaven. And then after probably really realistically, after the first week, I was sitting in that cubicle, and I felt like a caged animal.
What was your major in college?
I was business management.
And what were you doing at the John Hancock Tower?
I was just my co-op job, so it was entry level, just doing claims. I was a claims adjuster.
Okay.
So, it was a good job, but after, like I said, a week, I just felt like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
The restaurant.
How long did you last there?
I did the full co-op, 6 months.
Okay.
During that 6 months, I worked extremely hard, and I think we cleared a year's backlog in 6 months. But that's how, how we used to work. So restaurant people, we just go. So you just don't know how to stop, right?
You could say you're unstoppable.
Yeah. It's exactly. So that's, and I guess right after that point, I knew that I didn't want that kind of life. I said, I'm going back to the restaurant. So after that co-op, I did every co-op back at the restaurant. I kind of focused me in. I said, I knew what I wanted to do.
When you're saying co-op, what does that mean?
Cooperative programs, So
you did every co-op at the restaurant?
Yes.
What does that mean, though?
So they have a work-study program at Northeastern.
Okay.
So you basically, back in the day, you would do a 3-month co-op, find new jobs so you could find a career path.
Right.
And then, so you do that every year. And Northeastern's not a traditional 4-year college. It was a 5-year school.
Okay.
So you would go out and try to find the job, and you can co-op with, whatever makes you feel comfortable.
So they had co-ops in restaurants.
Yeah.
Wow, okay,
yes,
cool.
Yeah. But Northeastern's more like, business school. You go to different companies and it's
apprenticeships.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's something that needs to come back. You know, there's so much opportunity. I think at the end of the day, it's something when I've learned the most successful restaurateurs and restaurant operations, they are developing people. They're in the business, not the business of food, not in the business of entertainment or experience. They're in the business of developing people and creating them into experience creators.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's really like, it's like giving people the knowledge, you know?
Yes.
Why do you feel like we got away from that for a while?
I don't know if it got away from it.
Go get your education and then come to us fully educated and do your job.
Yeah. You know, I guess we did get away with it, but I just feel like now, people, I don't know how to say it. I just feel like developing people, like for me, is probably one of the most important things that
100%
that we do now.
What up, unstoppable restaurant owners and operators? We have to interrupt today's video to let you know that Restaurant Unstoppable and Restaurant Systems Pro, we're taking our relationship to the next level. Beginning in July of 2024, Fred Langley, CEO of Restaurant Systems Pro, is making himself available once a week in Restaurant Unstoppable Network to answer all of your restaurant systems questions, whether it's the profit margins. He will look at your P&L. Bring your P&L. He will take a look at that. He will dissect it. He will help you find your profit, whether that be through budgeting, inventory management, costing recipe cards, labor, checklists, you name it. He is a master of restaurant systems, and he's making himself available to you. Fred Langley and Restaurant Systems Pro started as a consulting firm, and for over 16 years, they've been helping their clients increase their profit by 10% or more. What are you waiting for? Click the link below to join our Facebook group, Restaurant Unstoppable Network.
One of the keystones of being a human being is what we do is we learn. We are where we are today as a species because we stand on the shoulders of giants. You know, like we pass it on to the next generation. We take what this generation's done and we build off of it.
Yes.
You know, that's what's so powerful about our species.
And I say this when I talk to new hires or people that have been with us for many years. I said, probably that's the most satisfying thing in this industry, like for me anyways, to watch people grow, develop into great, not managers alone, just great human beings, people. I mean, for me, that's extremely rewarding for me. Probably one of the most important things, actually.
It's great.
It's like coaching, like I used to love to coach and football and sports. It's great to develop, to see people develop.
Yeah. So you are developing yourself at this time in the story, right? You're doing all these co-ops, you're getting this experience.
Yes.
Was the goal to come back and work for the family business?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like after that first co-op position, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I was gung-ho restaurant.
What did you love about it?
I guess the people. Just like every day you would come in and, I mean, we have people working for us for 40, 50 years.
So the follow-up question was the people you're serving or the people you're working with? And I'm sure it's both.
It's both.
I love that you said the people that you're working with first.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what made me start this podcast. I started this podcast because I created a situation for myself where I was $200,000 in debt from becoming a commercial pilot. I was like, there's no way I'm working in restaurants and paying off that debt. Right. How do I find a way to work with restaurants so I can be with people I love? And there's no other type of person that I just like. The restaurant people are just the realest, hardworking, transparent.
Yeah.
Take me as I am. Let's go have a good time. Let's work hard. Let's play hard. I just love restaurant people.
That was my dad's famous saying, work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very true. It's funny because, I say it to my wife. I said, and the people I work with, sometimes, you spend more time with your employees than sometimes your family, you know? So, and they are your family. I consider, all our team members and almost like an extension, extended family.
Yeah, you get to choose your family.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So what year was it when you came back? You exited the co-ops and now you're with the family business.
Well, I finished school, so, right, 1988, 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're the youngest of four.
Yes.
So your brother, Andy, he would have been, how old were you when you came back? Like 22?
Yeah, probably like 22, 23.
So he was 26.
Yeah.
27.
Yep.
At this point, were the lanes being developed? Like Andy was, from my understanding, Andy was kind of groomed as like the front man, like the media guy, like the promoter, right?
Yeah.
Edison was the finances.
Yeah.
And, And Anita was bookkeeping and attention to detail.
Anita did everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just, she did a lot.
And you were operations.
Yeah. So I think, it's funny because we never really had defined roles. So, when my dad was alive, we all kind of just worked different roles.
Okay.
So Andy was, a little older, so he dealt with all the entertainment. He was the front guy, because he was the oldest. And
so when you say front guy entertainment, you're talking about like the talent you were hiring?
Meaning that he would be the face, like he would be greeting all the entertainment that'd be coming in. Yeah, he would be talking to all the politicians that would come in. He was just the guy.
Yeah.
So there was not like saying, "Oh, Andy, you're going to be the face of the restaurant." It was never meant to be like that. It's just that we all had our lanes,
right,
and we just kind of just fell into them
naturally.
Yeah, naturally. And then I guess after my dad passed away, we kind of got
2003?
a little bit. 2003, yeah. And then kind of understand our roles a little bit better because a little more defined because, my dad was the figurehead, like he would just ultimately, like, the word was his and we would say, yeah, okay, Dad. But after he passed away, we kind of all fell into our roles naturally. Yeah. So Andy would always be the front person.
And was your mom around in 2003 or did she pass sooner?
Oh, geez. My mom worked till the day we closed.
2018?
Yeah.
Is she around today?
She is.
Oh, wow. Good for her.
Yeah. She's doing well and, obviously slowing down a little bit, but still asking how the restaurants are doing. And she was actually my mom was the backbone of, my dad, because my dad would be just, the guy with the vision, and my mom would be behind in the back of the house, making sure everything was all right.
Your dad was what we call the why guy, and your mom was the how lady.
Yes.
Like you have the dream. You tell us where we're going. I'll make sure we get there.
Yeah.
That's what your mom did. So, what were the lessons you learned from your dad? You said this industry is about building people, and your dad really built you and your siblings. How, did how does he manifest in the way you approach business every day?
I think he was just a simple guy, and he wasn't complicated. He would just be there every day, greeting customers. I mean, I say hand-to-hand combat, right? Every day he'd be at the front, and he would go out and just make it a point to go see somebody and acknowledge you, make sure, thank them for being at the restaurant. I think that's how he built his restaurants, is just pure hospitality.
Yeah.
He was such a great
giver.
Buying people a drink, making sure that this guy's taken care of, make sure that guy's taken care of.
Yeah.
And I think people really appreciate it. Yeah. So, and that's what I meant by like hand-to-hand combat. And I think, a lot of it today is lost. Like that art is lost, I feel.
Yeah. I think it was your brother actually during our mentoring session with Tommy where he said that it's what the core of driving revenue. I think a lot of people right now are so like consumed with using the internet and new age marketing practices to drive revenue to their business. And it's like, I'm not going to say that stuff doesn't work, right?
No,
There's data that supports that if you make your life about promoting your business, that you will drive new business to your restaurant. But should the focus be driving new business, or should it be about making sure that if somebody comes into your restaurant one time, they never stop coming back, because that art, that hospitality, that being seen, that feeling special, like that's the shit that's going to bring people back. Like, and if you can, like you said, it's like a lost art. And your brother said, really the key is finding that general manager, that person that is the artist of creating that space.
Sure.
And that's the key, is finding that general manager who's like your dad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's even beyond the general manager. I mean, it can even be, our servers, our bartenders, kind of have all that hospitality in them,
right,
to make people come back and feel comfortable. Because really, that general manager can only do so much. For me, every person, every team member that we have that can I guess have that art of hospitality makes it so much so special. And I think going back to today's world, I don't think you see that much anymore, and if you do have it, I think it puts you a step above everybody else. I think
why don't you think we see that anymore?
I just think that with technology today, a lot of it is just ordering online, DoorDash. I don't know. It's just it's
convenience.
Just a lost art. I think there's more people in the industry. Obviously. Prior in the past and then today, I think.
Yeah. It's weird because I think that it's not, we're being convinced by the organizations that control the technology that what we need. Marketing is about, the majority of marketing is fear-based marketing. It's exploiting human fears and vulnerabilities and getting people to think like, you don't have enough time today. You need more time. You're doing too much. Like, you need convenience. You need value. And it's based off of scarcity of like, you don't have enough time. You don't have enough money. So we give people these conveniences and we build habits around these conveniences. It's a tap away. All you got to do to get fed is touch one tap.
Yeah.
And then, it's more convenient. Yeah, you're getting a good value there, but like, what are you losing is the question I don't think we're asking ourselves.
Yeah.
That convenience.
I think a lot of people, what I notice, especially where I used to work, one of our restaurants, and I, started from scratch and did the daily grind, but it's not a grind. I shouldn't say it that way, but just interacting with the customers, people who would want to come in. And I got so many great friends that it's almost like a part of, like, I don't know how to explain it, but
community. Yeah,
it's just like you come in and every week you just want to see how they're doing and talking about how the kids, and it's not to sound like it's repetitive, but it's just special when you can talk to so many different people and in different ways. And honest at doing it in an honest way, I guess.
Yeah. In 2003, when your dad passed, how many hukalau were there?
Oh, we only had one. We only had that one. My dad, Ed had gave you a little past history, but at one time I think we had 13.
13.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my dad actually had restaurants in Columbus, Ohio. He had one in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. He had one in Rocky Hill. So he had restaurant. We had one in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. I mean, he had restaurants everywhere.
This was in the 90s or 80s?
No, this was like in 70s.
70s, wow.
Yeah, 70s.
So I remember from that conversation with Edison that like your dad was like against scale. Like he didn't enjoy the scale. Like he dialed back because it was too much for him to like. It was a lot of management. He was constantly traveling.
Yes.
As an operations person, knowing what you know about systems, processes, procedures, streamlining things, do you think your dad, what advice would you have given your dad?
Well, I think, I look back and he was against, he tried to open all these restaurants. I know it was his goal. But back in the day, you didn't have computers.
Right.
You didn't have any of that. So it was all cash businesses. And he had a lot of partners, meaning, like you're not there, everybody's your partner. So as we evolved, and the only reason that we were able to scale is because we have systems, our POS system, Toast or whatnot, just allows us to know what's going on, gives us metrics.
Using an enterprise solution too.
Right.
So it's not just Toast, but it's the robust back of house,
correct,
integrated solution.
Absolutely.
General ledger, labor, purchasing,
just the whole thing.
Yeah, like getting that data that's tied to your POS. Like that's like that enterprise solution. That is what you need today, I think, to be able to do what you guys are doing. Absolutely.
I mean, we couldn't do it without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we, as we were evolving, we had different POS systems. We had like probably 4 different ones.
Right.
And they weren't talking to each other.
Right.
So we would just get, data that wasn't accurate.
Right. And I think you brought up the other thing is partnerships too. So your dad relied on partners, and the question you have to ask yourself is, this person going to love this baby like I love this baby? Are they going to give that same hospitality at the door that I give?
Right.
And the other thing is the level of communication has increased so much today. So you can be anywhere in the country and have a face-to-face conversation with somebody instantly.
Not only that, it's just that now you have, security systems everywhere. You can look into a camera and, sitting at your desk and see all of them at one time and just see how busy you are. And it's just incredible.
Well, you're breaking down your spend and your purchase by line item, right? And you have your theoretical versus your actual. So now you can see like, oh, there's a discrepancy here.
Right.
Like, where is this money going? And that, like literally like then you can go to the management of that restaurant and be like, what happened here? And now the management knows, well, shit, they're paying attention. We can't get away with anything. If a piece of steak grows legs and walks away, they'll come asking which way it walked.
I mean, we use a system called Solink, and it does screen overlay on closed circuit TV. So every item that's punched in, there's an overlay. You can see everything and what they're punching in. So I mean, it gets
it's called Solink. How do you spell that?
SOLINK. Solink.
And it's an overlay. So does it like a clear screen that goes over the POS?
No, it's a software.
So
it integrates with Toast.
Okay.
And then so your camera systems work together, and so whatever. Let's just say you're at a terminal and you're punching an order in, you can actually see and record the order that's being punched in.
Okay. So it's kind of like screen capture technology.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can get that detailed if you want to.
So what are you using this for? Like, give me like a case, like a live case.
Just, it's good to have. Just say, for example, you're short somewhere and you want to know why. If you want to just spot check on your people, if sales aren't, you thought it'd be busier for some reason, and you would go check, drill in and see if they're actually punching in items.
Got it.
Right. So, so it gives you the capability to do that if you want it.
How long have you been using Solink?
I think we've been using Solink for 5-6 years. 5-6 years, yeah.
What would you say the impact it's had on your business?
I just think it keeps track of everything. So just say even if there was an accident, we use it for if somebody slipped and fell, and we just want to go back and just to see if how it happened, and we can document it. Just even things like that.
Theft.
Theft. It could be accidents. I mean, we've used multiple times. People slip and falls.
Yeah, you don't want to rely on hearsay.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I think that's just another.
So it's cameras,
and
then it ties to the POS.
Correct.
And it can track like the
Yes.
It's screen capturing what's happening
Yes.
there.
Correct.
And then, so does that sync up with what's happening in real time with the cameras, so you can kind of see like,
Yes.
at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can pull it up.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Where are they based?
I don't know where they're based. I think they're based in Texas.
Oh, really?
I think so. I
Guess
mean,
who's
maybe-
going to Texas next week?
Yeah.
Me.
I don't know. Maybe
SOLK? or no.
Solink.
SOLE?
No, SOLINK. Solink.
Solink. Cloud Video Security
All right,
Business.
There you go.
They are in Ontario, Canada.
Oh boy,
Damn
I was
it.
totally wrong.
Ottawa, Ontario.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm definitely interested in learning more about that. That seems really cool. I've heard of them before. I didn't realize. I thought it was just security cameras. I didn't realize that they overlaid that on the POS.
Oh yeah,
too.
they
That's
do
cool.
everything. Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue along this path of your evolution. When did you know that your life was going to be with the Bean Group?
Right after college.
Oh, so you knew.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. Yeah, I was focused. Yeah.
So, any other lessons leading up to 2003? I mean, at what point did your dad start closing all the other locations?
so the Hukilau was 1,000 seats.
Yeah.
So it really took an army to run that place. At the level that we used to run.
Every
it.
location 1,000 seats?
No. That's one location in Chicopee was 1,000 seat.
That closed in 2018?
Yes. Yeah. So all the other ones, he started getting selling them probably in the mid 70s on, just getting rid of his
I don't want
partners.
to do this. Yeah.
Well, he had partners, and he ended up selling to his partners.
Yeah. Cash out?
Yeah, cash out, and it just kind of went back to his home base. His number one restaurant was Chicopee,
Yeah.
and kind of grew that.
Yeah.
So, that's not an average size restaurant, especially out here.
Right.
1,000 seats.
What's that building today?
Nothing. They tore it down.
Oh, that's
yeah, yeah. It's just today's world's different.
Yeah.
And we're not in a big metropolis area
Right.
out in Western Mass, not like Boston or anything like that. But it was just ran its time.
Yeah. So, we went through it was in 2003 that you guys established, right around the time that your dad passed. You established the Bean Group, correct?
Yeah, we opened our first restaurant, Johnny's Bar and Grill, the one that I actually started.
So that was your second restaurant, because you still had Hukilau.
Hukilau,
Yeah.
Hukilau was, we all were there. We're all under one roof. And then 2006, we opened Johnny's Bar and Grill. And they elected me to go out there, and I didn't know what I was doing. And it ended up learning quick.
When they say go open, what were you responsible for? Were you literally just the guy on the ground?
Yeah.
So you were solely responsible for opening
Yes.
this restaurant?
Yes.
So what were the biggest lessons you learned during that time?
Just to work, just to basically everything. I did everything from just running a restaurant. I never, back at our home base, our Hukilau, we were, I had my brothers, I had my aunts, I had my mother, I had my father. Just everybody had their own.
Yeah. Many hands makes
Yeah.
light work.
So, open a restaurant by yourself, you do everything. So basically, I learned everything, like how to manage people, how to do, scheduling, how to order, just the whole thing,
Yeah.
And
What was the struggle for you during this time? This is where you really started to cut your teeth as a restaurateur, because now you had to manage more.
Yeah. The struggles for me, actually, because you were the go-to guy, making the decisions, making sure that they were the right decisions, number one, and just keeping your workforce happy.
So just confidence in making sure that you're making the right decision.
Correct.
Was there a tipping point for you where you started to gain more confidence?
Yeah, probably after the first, I would say second year, you get comfortable, and then getting to know the we opened a bar and grill, which coming from an Asian restaurant, totally different.
Right.
You know, like, so I had to learn that, you know, how the cooking styles were different and the processes were different. Just everything was different from the environment that I came through. But it was just, you know, just from sheer work, I guess, just and having the right people in place to make it succeed.
So what was different after you said about 2 years? Like, what started to change? Was it just the experience, the knowing what the job done right looks like?
Again, just the food, you know, the processes, and for me, you know, because I could show you pictures of our restaurant and how we used to operate, and it's totally different cuisine, you know, and you know, we're cooking from scratch too at Johnny's, and just I guess the whole different, how do you say it, processes were just totally different. And so after 2 years, you get really, you know, start to get a little more
develop new habits.
Yeah, and you know what to expect, and you made your mistakes and you learn from your mistakes. But yeah, eventually you get a grip on it, and now it's just like, I guess, clockwork.
Yeah. So 2002, Halfway House. You have the Hooky Lao. You have Halfway House. 2006, you opened Johnny's Bar and Grill. 2011, you opened Johnny's Tavern. And then from there on, it was then Johnny's Tap Room. And then 2012, 2013, Iowa Sushi and Noodle Kitchen. 2014, Student Prince. 2015. So it seems like 2011 is where you guys really start to start
Scale
excelling. you know, so during this time of one new restaurant every 1.5 years, essentially, is what you guys were about averaging. How was your role evolving within the organization?
You know, obviously roles change. Just scaling is, you know, just a lot more scale. Trying to get a grasp on, you know, just operations in general. There's all different types of restaurants require different equipment, different. I mean, it's just I don't know how you say it, but you just would have to adapt, and hopefully that, you know, with all the processes that you learned over time, you know, after your first one, you get to know how to run a restaurant. You know, you learn your mistakes, and then as you scale, you kind of put forth, you know, kind of the same principles, and just you know, it kind of gets, you're used to it, I guess. You're used to making those type of decisions, and then obviously you gotta have the right people in place too.
Yeah.
You know?
So like from 2006 to 2017, your organization essentially grows by 200%. So you couldn't be just in one location anymore. Like before, they sent you to the Johnny's Bar and Grill. How did your role within the organization evolve?
I think we all just, you know, I look back and, you know, just wherever we would be needed. You know, I was still working full time at Johnny's, so, and my brother Andy would be, you know, in charge of, you know, the Student Prince.
Okay.
And then my
So you guys would
sister.
divide and
I mean,
conquer.
we would do everything. We would work. So just say like there was a special event at the Student Prince.
Yeah.
We would all go down there and
That's such
push
a cool
through it.
location, by the way.
Yeah,
like
thank you.
the charm in that
Yeah,
space is so
it
beautiful.
is.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it is. So I guess that growing up, we wore many different hats, and we did it all, like meaning operationally. So I think that gave us a little confidence to walk into these different situations and feel like and know what to do, so to speak. You know, like I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but you know, growing up I guess I always say, growing up at the Hooky Lao, you had a Harvard education, because not many restaurants you walk in and do, you know, seat 1,000,
Right.
and then, you know, turn over 3 shows of 525 within a night.
Wow.
And, amongst everything else going on. And then walking into a Johnny's Bar and Grill, which is a 125-seat restaurant,
Right.
and you go back, wow, this is not that bad. I mean, it's not that hard. You know what I
Right.
mean? You've done a lot. So I always say we had the Harvard education as kids,
Right.
which gave us so many tools to work with, how to fix problems, how to handle people, how to, make those tough decisions. So I think that background helped us grow, do many different situations. It just didn't seem as difficult because
You're galvanized at a young age.
yeah, right.
I'm curious if your lane today is ops, right? Equipment maintenance, employees. Give me some examples. I know of some examples. I've been in student prints. I know that you guys are known for your schnitzel. I know that you used to pay people to pound out meat
Yes.
for your schnitzel.
Yeah.
For your schnitzel. I know in that one restaurant, there's an example of a piece of machinery that you purchased that's probably saving you thousands of dollars a year on labor costs.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I want to focus for the rest of our conversation on your area of expertise: operations, equipment, maintenance. Because that's something actually I don't really talk a lot about. Is like operational efficiencies.
Sure.
So, starting with the student prints. So you guys picked up student prints. You acquired that legacy brand in 2017. Beautiful restaurant. You went in, kind of like looked at it, injected new technology, new systems, culture, and you looked at their systems and processes, and you said, how can we use machinery, right? So what did you guys implement there?
Well, we used to, it's a German restaurant, so they do a lot of schnitzels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's delicious. I had it last time I was in town.
So, and it's an 80-year-old brand, 90-year-old brand, and they used to pound everything by hand. Lay everything out, pound it. All you hear in the prep room is hammering away for 2-3 hours a day.
How many pounds of meat would they?
Oh, jeez.
Chicken, pork,
Chicken,
steak?
pork, and veal.
Veal.
So, they do hundreds of pounds of all products, and
You said it would take 2 hours plus
2 to 3 hours
of just pounding. How many people?
2 people.
2 people.
Yeah, 2 people, and it's very laborious. And I'm a type of guy that obviously I try to find.
How many days a week?
Huh?
How many days a week were they doing this?
Oh, they do it at least 5 days a week.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're the kind of guy that tries to find what?
Efficiencies. If I can save some labor hours here and there through equipment, I'm going to try to find it. So we ended up finding a schnitzel press, which is from a company called Scott Peck, and I think we save. It takes us an hour now, probably not even, to.
How many people does it take to operate?
One person.
All right. So you're at 780 hours a year
Oh yeah.
to have 2 people.
Yeah.
For 2 people, so times 2. That's 1,560 man hours a year to pound out schnitzel.
Sure.
I don't know if you feel comfortable. What's average kitchen wage
Just say
at this
$20,
time, 2007?
$22.
Times 20. So you're paying $31,200 a year to have people pound chicken,
Right.
pork,
Exactly.
and veal.
Yeah.
And how much? Now we're doing it with one person.
1 person, 1 hour.
1 person, 1 hour. So we're gonna reverse engineer. So I'm just gonna throw this number someplace. So I have it.
Just
31,200.
Yeah.
So now you're paying 1 person.
Sure.
So let's do this from the top. So 5 days a week, 1 person, 1
Yeah.
hour.
Yes.
So 5 times 52 for 52 weeks. So that's 260 hours a year now.
Mm-hmm.
One person
Mm-hmm.
times, I think my math is right, times 20 for the salary. Now you're paying $5,200 a year. So you went from 31,200 to, what did I say it was? 55,100?
Yeah, yeah.
You are saving $26,100 a year on labor.
Sure.
How much does this machine cost?
Probably like 15,000.
So you paid for it and then made money in the first year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the kind of shit we need to start thinking. Like, this is like, it's a really cool machine, you know? So what are the other variables I'm not taking? Like, what is like the maintenance like on a machine like this?
Nothing. It's just a hydraulic press. It's really
Simple.
Yeah, simple. I mean, just general maintenance, you know, taking care. Make sure you change your oil after, I think, 6 months. You got to we like to flush out the hydraulic.
How much does that cost?
Huh? Nah, nothing.
Do you do it yourself or do you have someone come in?
Yeah, no, you do it yourself. Yeah. Just maintaining it. You know, I always try to tell, you know, my executive chefs, you know, I want to give them the best equipment, right? Because you're only as good as your equipment in a restaurant. So I expect them to take care of it. You know.
Are there any other examples like the schnitzel
machines?
machines?
Oh yeah.
Give me some other examples.
Our sushi bar, you know, we used to roll all our rolls by hand. So that's very tedious. So we mechanized that as well. And there's a company called Autec. They're out of California.
How do you spell that?
AUTEC. So they're a Japanese company, and they specialize in sushi.
So they, I'm at the website, but I don't see any images.
Autec Sushi.
Is it Autec Sushi? Got it. So kind of dive more into like the economics of that for me, like I did with the
schnitzel.
Yeah.
Well, just say for example, to sushi, you gotta lay out the rice, right?
Yeah.
You gotta put the seaweed out. Spread the rice out by hand. This is the old way. You know, it got spread. So it takes probably, I don't know, just say hypothetically, maybe 3 minutes,
Okay.
4 minutes to roll a roll of sushi. Maybe probably not that long. Maybe I say
If you're
to spread it out, I would say maybe
2 minutes.
no. I would say 45 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
Right? Just to spread it out. So they have sheathers now that can sheathe, lay it all out for you in one press of a button.
So
5 seconds.
So
2
you're saving
seconds.
40 seconds
Yeah,
every roll.
Right. Every roll. And you do 200-300 rolls a night.
Right. So 40 seconds times 300. So it would be, you're saving 40 seconds times 300 equals 12,000 seconds divided by 60. You're saving 200 minutes a day.
Yeah, 200 minutes. But just, you know, so for me, what I look at is it takes so long to do that, right? So operationally, efficiency-wise, you're only limited to how fast you can produce your product, right? Our sushi bars are busy. So to actually roll out a sushi by hand and it's inconsistent, you got to be highly skilled to do
Right.
this. Not just any guy can do this, you know.
So, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So you know, we found a machine that can kind of sheathe everything perfect every time. So
is this Autec as well?
this is
sheathing?
Autec. Yeah.
Is it just one machine that you're using, or are you also using another machine?
I use their rice mixer. So mixing sushi rice is a skill in itself. You got to let it cool. You got to mix the vinegar inside of it, and you can't. You know how the old-fashioned way you used to use a paddle and a wooden bowl. So you throw the rice in there to cool it because you have to cool it, and you put your vinegar in there. But that itself is an art because you can't smash it. You have a wooden paddle, so if you don't do it right, you're smashing the rice, and the rice does not it becomes mushy, right? So they have a machine that's almost like a cement auger that mixes it. So you don't have to do any of that. Okay? So you take that process out, which probably takes 25, 30 minutes to do on a traditional way. But now cuts it down to probably like 10 minutes.
Okay.
And you don't have to even pay attention to it.
So you're saving 25 minutes per batch. How many batches would you do in a day?
It all depends on volume, but we would do probably two or three batches of rice.
So essentially an hour and a half you're saving a day.
Yeah, right.
What up, unstoppable restaurant owners and operators? We have to interrupt today's video to let you know that Restaurant Unstoppable and Restaurant Systems Pro, we're taking our relationship to the next level. Beginning in July of 2024, Fred Langley, CEO of Restaurant Systems Pro, is making himself available once a week in Restaurant Unstoppable Network to answer all of your restaurant systems questions, whether it's the profit margins. He will look at your P&L. Bring your P&L. He will take a look at that. He will dissect it. He will help you find your profit, whether that be through budgeting, inventory management, costing and recipe cards, labor, checklists, you name it. He is a master of restaurant systems, and he's making himself available to you. Fred Langley and Restaurant Systems Pro started as a consulting firm, and for over 16 years, they've been helping their clients increase their profit by 10% or more. What are you waiting for? Click the link below to join our Facebook group, Restaurant Unstoppable Network.
Okay, so this is the next. So now this is where you really. So if you take what you're talking about. So the last time I was here, I was talking to Edison. We're talking about the enterprise solution, having a piece of software that's tied to your POS, that's tied to your ledger, that's tied to your purchasing, that's tied to your cost of goods, all of your your menu engineering, and you have your theoretical cost versus your actual cost, and you have everything, every item that you purchase is being, you know exactly where that's going, and you can track everything. So now you know exactly, now you control your cost of goods, right? But now, where else do we get hit? Labor, right?
Labor.
So now you're thinking, okay, well, we got our cost of goods dialed in. We know exactly what we're doing. We're checking our invoices every day. We're getting the best prices we can get. Now you start looking at your labor and you start thinking, like, how can we start shaving seconds off? Like, and I'm thinking, like, so we already identified that you're saving $26,000 in labor on the schnitzel, right? Like that goes straight to the straight to the bottom line, right?
Yes.
And then, so if we're doing, you said we're saving about 200 minutes a day.
Sushi
with the sheath.
Flat. Yeah.
So like how does that translate into, you know, like how many sushi rollers do you have?
Well, our location, we have 2. On a busy night, we have 3.
Okay.
Right. So I guess the bottom line is how much that those 2 guys can produce.
Well, yeah. So now you're labor, but now it's throughput. That was the other point I was going to make.
Yes.
So now where you could only do so much, now like you're driving revenue because you can sell more. Correct. Right. People are going to eat more. They're going to. Right. So maybe you're doing more takeout now because you have the ability to have that much more throughput.
Correct.
So all these little things, I think that's the power of being able to look at data. Is you can start. So it's one thing to be like, oh, like we should do this, and I think that, you know, it's going to improve our bottom line or make us more efficient. But when you can back it with data, you know, and track it to really see how you're moving the needle, then it becomes a game.
Yes.
Because now you're like, how do we do it better?
Right. Right.
So like, take me to that world, your world of like, you know, I'm assuming Edison's in the background looking at the data. You guys are covering the data, and then you're looking at the actual process because you're boots on ground. So like, are there any other examples of efficiencies, ways you improve what you're doing and how you do it?
You're talking about like other scenarios like that. Well, we do pizza as well. So I found a piece of equipment that really, we're able to make great pizza, highly efficiently with very low labor, and comes out great all the time. So it's an oven that we purchased probably since 2008. We've been using the same company. It's Picard ovens.
Picard.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't say how much I love that thing.
So is it a Picard ovens? Got the website right here. Actually, am I spelling this Autech? Is it A-W?
No, A-U.
A-U.
T-E-C.
There's your problem, you knucklehead. I spelled it wrong.
Autech.
Autech. That's why I couldn't find it. A-U-T-E-C.
Yes.
Got it. All right. I'm going to be reaching out to these folks as well. So this is the future of Restaurant Unstoppable, by the way. This is me digging, looking for leads, looking for clues, getting testimonials, endorsed, recommended vendors, and I want to get these folks on the show.
Well, you should, for us, we learned at an early age. My dad always wanted us to grow and like expand our knowledge. So he took us out to Chicago Restaurant Show when we were young.
Oh, that's cool.
So, I didn't know what to expect, right? We've always been to the local shows in Boston or New York, and it really doesn't do any justice,
Yeah,
so
Chicago's ridiculous.
You go to Chicago.
Bring walking shoes.
Right. So you go to Chicago, and I think that's where everything kind of comes together. And for me, anyways, it's you get to see the newest technology, and it just keeps you relevant.
Yeah, for you, it's like a kid in a candy shop because there's just so much going on there.
Right.
So Picard, I think I took you off that conversation.
Yeah.
So what is it about Picard that's interesting?
It's a conveyor oven, but stone.
Okay.
Stone conveyor.
How the hell?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
They just have it's a stone conveyor. So their conveyor, instead of having metal, is stone instead. And so you get the stone cook in flavor, not on mesh. A lot of these I don't know if you've ever seen those regular conveyor ovens that have mesh conveyors.
Yeah.
And they use pans.
Yeah.
So we don't use pans.
So do you know the model number? Is it the RE-714 by any chance, or RE?
No, we just actually purchased a new one. It's called a Volcano.
This is fun. I'm on the website right now. I wish I had a Jamie. Joe Rogan, he has a Jamie, this guy.
Yeah,
who's like in the
right.
background,
Yeah.
sharing on the screen. Someday I'll have a Jamie.
That's
I don't see the Volcano on the product list, but anyway, that sounds really cool. So it's just, so how has that helped in terms of what we did with the sushi roller, what we did with the meat pounder? How is this more efficient? How are you saving money?
I just think a regular traditional oven, regular deck ovens, you're opening and closing, right? The doors.
Yeah.
You get hot spots. You open the door, you let all the heat out. So it's inconsistent, right? The oven gets hot in certain areas, so you got to be on it. You got to know. You got to be really skilled to work a deck oven.
Yeah.
You can burn it. You can forget about it. It's cooking well done, right?
Yeah.
So actually my sister and I, and this is back in 2008, when we were thinking about putting pizza in one of our locations, went around and trying to find the best possible oven, and we happened to stumble upon this. And in Connecticut, we seen it in operation. And I was looking at it, I said, wow, you can just load it in the front. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to open any doors, and it comes out perfect every time.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who's worked a lot of hours on a deck oven, I have to admit that I have burned a pizza or two, which I love well-done pizza, so I was always happy about it because I would get a free pizza at the end of the night, but my boss hated it.
Yeah. So if you worked with a deck oven, you understand.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's made a big change for us, and not only that, we do other things with the oven.
So you got the Picard Pizza Volcano oven.
Yes.
All right. Well, I just looked it up. I'm going to watch that video later because I'm interested. So in terms of the continued growth and evolution, we haven't talked about maintenance yet. I think that's another area where you can save a lot of money. So are you doing most of the maintenance on all the equipment?
Maintenance is, a lot of people tend to forget about maintenance for restaurants, but as simple as cleaning out your condenser. We try to, and actually we're building programs now for our general managers because a lot of people don't even understand. I mean, they don't even know what a condenser is.
Yeah. One of the first things to go, whenever, like, if you're buying a restaurant, do not buy used refrigeration.
No, right.
Because most people don't clean out their condensers. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that, even, HVAC, I mean, you got to be aware of all that stuff. And that stuff adds up. I mean, if you have bad equipment, I mean, at a bottom line, you're constantly repairing. I mean, that's a lot of money.
So how hard is it to clean out a condenser? What's that process look like?
It's simple. Just, like anything else, you YouTube it. And that's what we're building. We're actually building now is a program where we're going to give the managers how to daily, not daily or weekly, monthly, maintain
monthly,
all the equipment.
Annual, like whatever the scheduled maintenance is.
Correct. Yeah.
So this is huge. This is what we're talking about. Like, what are like the rituals? Like, so there's daily rituals, there's weekly rituals, there's monthly rituals, there's quarterly rituals, and there's annual rituals.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes there's multi-year. Like every 5 years there's a ritual. It's the 5-year plan, right?
Yeah.
So like how often does this happen? Create one event on a calendar and have it reoccurring on a calendar every 3 months or whatever the ritual.
Yeah. So
calls for.
it's as simple as talking to your managers and putting a reminder quarterly to clean out your condenser. It's
how long? Just give us an idea of how simple that is and how much money that saves you.
Well, money is just to replace a refrigeration unit. Back in the day, I mean, refrigeration would cost like $1,500 for like a bain-marie, right? Today, it's like $4,000 or $5,000, And as you well know, a lot of the stuff today, you just can't, it costs you more to repair it than it is to buy it.
Right, because nobody knows how to repair anything.
Right. I mean, to find a service guy to come in and change out a condenser, probably costs as much as buying a new one. Wow. Yeah. So that's why, since COVID, I guess maybe, parts have been kind of limited. Supply chain has been tough. So we kind of focused on trying to maintain all our equipment, right? And on the bottom line, I mean, I know a couple units that we had old equipment, and I'm telling you, the maintenance on that, on what it reflects on the bottom line is big at the end of the year. So simple as getting a brush, or a little, compressor to blow air. Just a simple little things like that, just to blow it out quarterly, will save on a compressor.
What are you blowing out?
Dust.
Why is dust bad?
Because it impedes circulation for your refrigeration units. Can't
overheats.
So overheats your compressor.
Yeah. I think it was Stephanie Robson who were talking about like back of house equipment and just like what people do with their refrigeration, where they put refrigeration, like in the smallest little there's a refrigerator fits perfectly in this little nook over here. Yeah. Where is the airflow?
Right. Correct.
Yeah. You need to think about that stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So if it's tucked in there, like wedged in, where you gotta need a 300-pound man to pull on it to get it out, like you think you're gonna be getting back there with a compressor and blowing, you got to think about that stuff. Ice machines,
just every piece of equipment, just even like your dishwasher, right? You think about it. Our glass washers, like if you're down a glass washer, at a busy bar, that's life-changing for, on a busy night. That impedes your overall efficiency.
Any other examples relative to the maintenance that normal restaurateurs just glass by or like look past, like these little opportunities like cleaning out the compressor?
I mean, it just goes on. I mean, HVAC, just making sure that you change your filters. I do at least 3 times a year, just little things like that. I guess you just got to get your managers and your people on the right frame of mind to take care of your equipment.
And that comes through the training.
Yes. Yeah.
And what are you doing? Where does this training live?
Actually, we're going to have our meeting April. Well, this coming up April. with all our managers, and I'm gonna sit down with them and just go over every aspect as what I know of. I don't expect them to repair machinery, but obviously preventative maintenance is very important, and it's the simple things like that. Just even the compressor. I'd be happy if they just do compressors, on a quarterly schedule.
When is this going to happen?
We're doing it in April. Yeah, we're meeting with all our
I wish I was here.
Yeah.
I'd come by with the cameras and
Yeah.
record the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'll be on my way back around that time.
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. But like this, do you have like a platform, like a what's the why can't I think of the
Maintenance
term?
platform or
No, a platform where like you host this training and like a e-learning platform. Why can't I
like a Zoom meeting or something?
No, like I'm thinking like Opus, or
no.
like a.
What is Opus?
It is a platform where you basically do your training. It's like there's a term for LMS, Learning Management System. That's what I was looking for. So like a Wisetail, like a Opus, like a platform where people where there's a curriculum. So instead of just having an operations manual, there's like this digital space where all of your training lives, and you can give your people hey, okay, you're a new hire, go through this training, take this test.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
So
I was looking for something like that at the show.
Okay.
So maybe you can
Check
help
out
us
Opus.
out. Yeah, help us out.
Opus is I've been hearing a lot of good things about Opus.
Really?
Another really cool platform is One Huddle.
Right, One Huddle.
So have you been using it?
No, I've heard about One Huddle, and I'm trying to talk to my brothers.
I'll introduce you to Sam Caucci, the CEO. He's a great guy.
Really?
Had him on the show. Really smart. But that platform is really interesting because what it does is it uses this path of least resistance to make information sticky. So what most people do is they say, here's 30 pages about the company history, the origin of our cuisine, and they just information overload these poor workers that have to go back and remember all the ingredients and of every menu item, and it's just drinking from a fire hose, right? You're just whoa. And you have 2 weeks to learn all this and take the test and get on the floor, right? So what One Huddle does is it basically gives you a multiple choice test, and you get asked a question and there's 4 options or 3 options, and then you take the test without getting any material on what the actual answers are. You just say, here's the test, take it. And then you get a 1 out of 10. Shoot. Well, you see what you got right. So now you're going to remember the answer to that. Then you take it again. Ooh, I got 3 out of 10. So now I got 30%. And then you keep taking it until you get 100%.
Oh.
And then you can take it again to get a better time.
Oh, wow.
And what's cool is there's a gamification element of it where you can see how everyone in the entire organization has performed on that test. Wow. So now you don't want to be the person on the lowest. Right. You don't want to be the person that got the slowest time. So you're going to keep taking that test because you don't want to be at the bottom of the totem pole. But the thing is, when you study like that, the information becomes sticky because now you're just remembering the answer, not all the noise around it. Right. So it's very powerful. I'm really
I would definitely love to get some more information on that. I know I have brought it up. We brought it up in the past, but maybe you can set us up and
introduce
us
I'm happy to make introductions. I'm pretty sure I have. They sponsored the show in the past. I want to say it's onehuddle.com /
number one, right? It's a number one huddle, isn't it?
Oh, that didn't work. Well, that's not the link. We'll have a link in the show notes if you're listening to this. Just scroll down whenever player if you're interested, or reach out to me. I'll make a personal
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So what haven't we discussed up to this point? Am I missing out on an area of expertise, something that you're uniquely qualified to shed light on, or just maybe a message you want to get out?
No, I think we covered a lot. Give a little background of where my family has come from. No, I just think overall, I think for me, you're only as good as your people, right? So it takes a whole team to do what we do. And I think it's such an important part of our business just to have make sure that we, make us as owners, and to make sure that we take care of our people, and like we had talked about earlier, making them better, watching them grow. I guess that's probably, in a nutshell, that's probably what. That's all I have to say.
So how do you do that? What is, because that's pretty easy based off of what you just said, but we know the reality that that's not easy. It's hard work. What are the challenges that come with, finding people, building them, helping them grow?
Well, there's a lot of challenges. Number one, it's just in today's world, finding people. Number one is hard, but finding the right people, and if you're able and willing, I guess, to develop people, I guess that's the biggest challenge for us. But once you have those people, I think you got to work extra hard to make sure that they want to stay, want to be in the industry. And not everybody wants to be in the industry.
So not everybody wants to be in the industry?
No, no. I mean, in a perfect world.
I thought you said that for a second. Everybody wants to be in the industry.
Not everybody wants to be in the industry.
Yeah.
But, there are people who do, though, and for us to retain them, you got to make them want to stay.
Yeah.
I guess, right? I mean,
how do you make somebody want to stay?
I think it's everything. I think, number one, you want to make them feel appreciated, like they're a lot of, in today's world, it's just, there's not that human interaction. I guess we just try to make them feel part of our family. Obviously we want to take care of them to the best of our abilities. It's something that, they enjoy doing, and hopefully they, our culture's there that they want to stay,
So make people want to stay, make them feel appreciated, make them feel a part of the family, take care of them. How do you make somebody feel appreciated?
For me, I don't know. I feel like I just want to, I guess, Tommy was talking about being respected, right? So I guess the very simple things is just make sure that they're being respected, appreciated.
But what do you do to make sure that it's happening?
I don't. That's a good question.
That's why I'm sitting on this side of the
That's
table.
a good question. I think it's just something that I don't know if you can.
Well, I think you said it, make them feel a part of the family, right? We talked earlier about making people, like, you get to choose your family.
Yes.
Right? In the industry. Like, you spend more time with these people than your actual family. So, like, what do you do? What are the things you do to take? Then you said you take care of them. Like, how do you take care of them? What does taking care of these people look like?
Financially, spiritually, right? I think not only that you got to take care of them or have a pathway for them to move up, grow within the country, in the company, and that's part of our, I guess, what we try to do. We try to emphasize that with, I guess, being part of our restaurant group is the opportunity to grow, right? A lot of people, if you love the industry, there's got to be a pathway, because a lot of people have different, want to be owners someday. They want to own their own restaurant. A lot of people have the ambition to do that, and it takes a special breed of people. They're not out there all readily available, but I think if you develop people and we've have stories, multiple stories from people who started as dishwashers and worked their way up to being partners.
Yeah. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Chip Connolly has this book out there called Peak. And it's all reflecting on, like, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and how most organizations focus on the bottom of the pyramid, which is like, you basically give somebody a paycheck and you offer them health insurance. So you're covering your physiological needs and your security, your feeling of, like, if I get sick, I have I can take care of myself.
Yeah.
But most people don't focus on the peak of the pyramid, which is self-actualization, helping people self-actualize. What's my definite purpose in life? What am I good at, and what can I dedicate my life to? And then below that, it's personal growth. It's growing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's feeling like you're getting better and you're finding your path. You're finding the thing that you're recognized for being good at. You're getting even better at it. And you could be the best at it. And that could help you self-actualize and find your definite purpose in life. Below that, it's being seen. It's being seen and appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you just described, I don't know if you did it intentionally, it was the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Like you literally just did it naturally right there. And I think that's really that when I say that my mission is to inspire, empower, and transform the industry, it's the transformation part where if all owners realize that their job is to help people grow and self-actualize and have purpose. You don't tell me, you're telling me we can't change the world with the amount of impact and influence the restaurant industry in every community, everywhere. If our role as restaurant owners was building people and creating opportunity and providing security and helping people seen and valued, like we have so much influence, man. It's like inspiring to think about the dent we can put in this world. You know,
very, very. Yeah, you said it perfectly. Again, I mean it's hard for me to describe that, how you teach that, because there's no, I guess, books. I mean, I don't know, it might be a book out there, but I guess for me, I grew up, in a school of hard knocks and, just learn from experience. And I think I know, like, what people are looking for, like how they feel, I guess, empathy, right? And, but really, I mean, I want to take care of people monetarily as well as spiritually, right? It's just like you want them to grow and succeed. And we talked about in the beginning of the show, nothing makes me more happy than seeing somebody like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you hit another really important nail on the head, is this idea of not just in business but in life, spiritually.
Yeah, in life. Yeah, spiritually. Yeah.
And I think the industry is guilty of being so about giving everything we have to our business that we're not like a well-rounded, holistic, healthy individual. Like we might be, like you look at some of these chefs and like these chef owners that are celebrated, and then you look at like their personal lives and like, how many wives have they had? Like, do their kids talk to them? Like in society and media props these people up, and we celebrate these people for their restaurants. And it's just like, well, should we be really like, are these the people we want to aspire to be more like? And what did they sacrifice in life to get that attention? You know?
I guess I learned that from my dad. Like he always tried to take care of everybody.
Yeah.
Bottom line, it's everybody from janitor to line cook to server to bartender. He always went above and beyond. I think that's what made him successful too, because he had loyal employees. Yeah. So
One more thing I want to talk to you about before we wrap it up. Something I've been curious about. Speaking of succession, you were handed a baton. You have your son Nathan, who is about to fill your shoes. So what's that like?
I think Nathan's doing a great job. I don't want to tell him that, but
don't listen to this podcast, Nathan.
No, but no, he's doing a great job. He's learning a lot. I think that he's grown up in the business, so he understands what hard work is and what a value of a dollar is and how to treat people. As we said before, you get to meet all these different types of people and how to interact with them. I think he's gotten to see that. I think more so before, like my dad never had that, like a process, we kind of just did it ourselves. But I think, as we get older, he has a little bit more tools to work with. And, my brother Edison guides him all the time too. So, it's like he's learned a lot and he's interact with many, many, many different people. So I think he gets it. he gets
So
it.
is he?
Yeah.
He's kind of an operations-minded person too. He's in
yeah.
operations.
Yeah.
Is he like a hybrid between you and Edison, where like
He
you're
is.
good in like on the floor with the
Yeah.
mechanics, the maintenance, the systems, but he's also getting his hands into the digital side, the
Yeah.
financial side.
Yeah.
Why is that so important to get both sides of that coin?
Well, I think, when succession planning comes, when we, eventually we can't be here forever, right?
Right.
He's got to be able to, I guess, know both sides, right? He's got to learn to do everything. So I think, Edison gives him the opportunity, gives him a really good education of how the books really work, And then, for me, operationally, I wish you could kind of, trying to teach him just the fundamentals of equipment, because you got to know that stuff too, You got to know everything. As my dad would say, you got to know how to wash dishes and, be a host. You got to be a bartender. You got to know your business. And I think that we've been very blessed to have that opportunity. I think he's got a good opportunity to do that now. So he's, don't get me wrong, he's got a lot to learn still, but I think he's on the right path.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you can't learn this stuff overnight.
No.
Right? You can't. I mean, it takes years.
Not only you have to learn the way it's been done and it's being done, but then you have to learn about how do you evolve so you can do it in the future.
Right.
And that's the hard part, is if Moore's law, which states that technology increases exponentially, it gets like exponentially faster, like it's exploding. Technology is exploding.
Yeah.
And once like it's just like if you're not plugged in and evolving constantly, like you're going to be left in the dust, because with the increase of cost of goods and the increase of labor and all these things, you got to learn to do what you've spent your life doing.
Right.
How do we do more with less? How do we implement technologies and machinery to streamline process and to have more throughput, or with less man hours? Like you have to today. And it's only getting more crucial to develop those skills.
Not saying that that's the path that we want to go down, right? Like, I wish I had, 10 skilled line cooks that know how to hold knives and, and have a great skill set. But today's world, it's not like that. Back in the old days, it was. But I look at it now, so if you don't mechanize a little bit, you're going to get left behind.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anything we haven't discussed up to this point you want to get out?
No, I mean...
I've really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, a little nervous, but...
No, you handle it like a champion. You're awesome. So a couple questions before we officially say goodbye. What is one thing about your business's a value, a process, a system that makes you truly unstoppable?
What makes us unstoppable? I think, I don't know if it's a process. I think what we just strive to do is be good to people, be genuine to people, be appreciative of everything. I mean, I appreciate everything. I appreciate all my employees. I appreciate my guests. Just, don't sweat the small stuff. And like I said in the beginning, seize the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
The mission statement is to change the world through inspiring, empowering, and transforming the restaurant industry. And I think we're going to accomplish that by helping one person transform at a time. So how have you personally transformed? Give me an example of what personal transformation for you has looked like in this industry. How are you a better man today than you were when you got started?
How am I a better person? For me, to make me a better person, what made me a better person?
I'm just reflecting on your growth as a restaurateur. Like, how are you better today than you were when you got started?
I just think that, we deal with so many people, and you really know, you get to find out, I guess you get a sixth sense of who's good and who's bad. But there's a lot of good people out there, and I think what I've learned over time is that. There's so many great people out, and I guess for me, I love being around all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
No,
but
it does. For sure.
I don't know.
More self-awareness of what drives you.
Yeah.
What your passions are, what you value in the industry. The last question, it's a doozy.
Oh, boy.
Get ready for it.
Man.
You got the news. You'd be leaving this world tomorrow. All the memories of you, your work, and your restaurants would be lost with your departure. With the exception of 3 pieces of wisdom you could leave behind for the good of humanity and your legacy, what would those 3 pieces of wisdom be?
Be kind.
1.
Be appreciative.
2.
And don't sweat the small stuff.
3. This has been so much fun, Nick. Thank you so much. So one question I ask all my guests is, who do you respect and admire? I really am trying to democratize this podcast, decentralize it. I believe word of mouth is the best way to find people and things. So who do you respect and admire in this industry? Who's somebody that is, running fiscally successful operations, who's well respected, who's challenging the status quo? If they were a guest on this podcast, you'd be like, whoa, I want to see what that person has to say.
I think Edison and we value our relationship with the Wongs.
Bobby Wong. He's
Yeah.
on my radar.
Yeah.
Actually, I was hoping to connect with him last week, but we couldn't make it happen. So, Bobby, you heard it again right here.
He's
I'm persistent.
Yeah.
I will. I'll be in touch this summer, likely when I get back from
Yeah.
Texas. I'd love to get you on the show. And how can we connect with you personally? If we have questions about what you had to say today, I don't know if you want to put an email out there or a social handle.
You could get me on my email. It's nick@beanrg.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And this is episode 1167. We'll have links to any tools, services, technologies, books mentioned today, and as well as how to connect with Nick Yee over there in the show notes. Nick, I literally cannot do what I do without people like you making it possible, sharing your knowledge, getting vulnerable, opening up. You make this work possible, man. Thank you so much. There is no questioning. You are unstoppable.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Great job.
Cheers.